Hey y'all, happy Monday. How are you guys? Today we're going to talk about being brave and what bravery looks like. When people hear the word brave, they often think of like big dramatic moments, standing up to a bully, giving a speech, doing something fearless. But real bravery usually doesn't look like a movie scene. Most of the time, bravery is often quiet, it's internal, and it shows up in your everyday choices. Bravery, like I've said before, isn't the absence of fear. Bravery is actually feeling fear and choosing to move forward anyways. So that's kind of different than probably what we thought. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what does bravery actually look like. Bravery could be speaking up when something doesn't feel right. Okay, so speaking up when something feels not correct. It could be being honest even when it's uncomfortable. So in moments that you have to be honest with yourself, your feelings, other people, you're honest with them even when it doesn't feel good. Okay. It could be trying something new when you're not sure if you're going to be successful at it. Okay. It could be walking away from people or situations that don't respect you. Okay, so that's a hard one, right? Walking away from people or situations that don't respect you. That can get really hard when it has to do with family or close friends, etc. And then this one goes for being yourself instead of who others think or want you to be. This includes us as parents, right? This also includes your peers, your friends, maybe your coaches, right? So this includes everyone. I know it's hard to think like your parents, but you have to be yourself, okay? And us as parents, our job is to accept you all who you are and to guide you and to help you make best choices in your life. So that's our job, not to tell you who to be, but to guide you along your own path and let you make your own choices. Sometimes bravery looks like action. Sometimes it looks like restraint, okay? Sometimes it looks like change, and sometimes it looks like staying. What does bravery feel like? Bravery doesn't feel confident at first. I know that's like a weird thing to say, right? But it does not feel confident ever at first. It often feels nervous, maybe uncertain, vulnerable. Vulnerable for you guys maybe is like, just being raw with yourself, like your actual self, not playing into who you think you should be, how you think you should answer. It's being who you think you are, and your actual self. It can often feel like your heart is beating faster than your thoughts. Okay. So those moments where you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. That uncomfortable feeling is actually a sign that you're growing, okay? Bravery stretches you. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And anything that stretches you will feel awkward at first before it feels strong. So it will feel bad and then good. But that's a lot of things in life, right? Sometimes things feel awkward and weird before they feel better. Why is being brave so challenging or scary for us? Okay, being brave is hard because you feel like you might fail. Okay, we don't like to often do things that we know we're gonna fail at, right? At first, we like to do things that we know we're successful with. I would say that's the easier choice, right? If you know that you're gonna do something, or you know that you can do something that you're successful at, you feel very confident. And it's okay to have moments like that, but it's also okay to be brave and to try new situations that you don't know if you'll succeed at and you might fail at. Another one is you might be judged. Okay, so a lot of people don't be brave because they feel like they might be judged, or that you might disappoint someone. Okay, so like a lot of times we do things, I'll say all of us do things, and we don't do something, or we don't feel something because we feel like we might disappoint someone else. Okay, but realistically, that's not how we should live our lives, right? We should live our lives free and open and making our own decisions. And another reason maybe that it's challenging or scary is because we might not get the outcome that we hope for. Okay, so we might not get what we want in the end, and that's okay too. Okay, our brains are wired to keep us safe. Okay, not help us grow. Okay, so that might sound awkward, but our brains are wired to keep us safe. Our brain constantly is in a mode with our whole body to keep us safe. So fear shows up to protect you, but it doesn't get to make your decisions for you. Okay, growth lives on the other side of what's uncomfortable. Okay, so on the other side of uncomfortable, that's where growth lives. Okay, so sometimes we have to step into those fearful, uncomfortable situations that we don't really think we go into. What is bravery to different people? Bravery looks different for everyone. Okay, for one person, bravery is just raising their hand or talking out in public. Okay, for another, it might be setting a boundary. Okay, for someone else, it's about asking for help. Okay, or starting over, or believing in themselves again when they didn't maybe believe in themselves before. It's important to note, guys, like never compare your bravery to someone else's bravery. I know that seems like a simple thing to say, but your brave moment matters because it's like yours. Okay, so we have to remember that, like, right? Like my brave moment does not look like your guys's brave moments. Your guys's brave moment might not look like something that's brave for me. So it's important to remember that bravery shows up different for different people, and your brave moment now might not be your brave moment in a year. So that's also important to remember. Like as we grow, as we try new things, as we get more confident in situations, our bravery probably changes. Another subject I wanted to talk about, and sorry, I'm looking down because my notes obviously, is how can we practice bravery in our lives, decisions, and relationships, okay? So I made like a little list of things we can do to practice our bravery, okay? And you guys probably all do this. Number one would be do one small thing that stretches you slightly. That's an important thing. I talked about being stretched. Being stretched is like taking yourself out of your comfortable situation and just going that little bit further, okay? That's how we grow as an individual, right? We can all stay, and I talked about this in another Monday, we can all stay put and be comfortable. You can stay in your comfort spot, but that's not where we say yes in life. That's not where we expand in life. That's not how we grow as a person. So this is all intertwined, right? We need to stretch ourselves slightly into situations that are not comfortable for us, okay? And like I said, that's going to look different for every person, okay? Stretching yourself can simply be as simple as trying something new that you're not confident with. So that's stretching yourself. Okay, so do one small thing that stretches you slightly more. Another one would be say what you mean with kindness instead of staying silent. What I mean by that, and we'll have a talk about this on another Monday, is it's, I think the younger generation now isn't used to expressing their feelings a little bit more than maybe like what I was taught. It's okay to be raw and open, guys. Like, be raw and open. I personally, and I'll tell you this personally, I'd personally much rather have a relationship, a friendship, anything, or see people, a person, express themselves raw and free. Oh, sorry, music. Express themselves raw and free than try to be something else. Like, no one wants to be with someone who is trying to be something else. So saying what you mean with kindness instead of staying silent speaks to that. Another one would be choosing honesty over approval. Okay, like I always encourage my kids to be honest and not worry about other people's approval, because other people's approval, like guys, it might matter that moment, but like in a year, you're not gonna care. So live for yourself is what I'm telling you. Trying again after a setback instead of quitting. That's pretty easy for you guys to all understand. Trying again, keep going at it. You might succeed the next time. You don't know. Setting boundaries even when it feels awkward. Okay, so we need to all set boundaries for ourselves and for others. You know, we can't let people run us over and make us feel bad. We need to set boundaries on that. Being kind to yourself when bravery doesn't go perfectly. Okay, that's being resilient, guys. Being kind to yourself after it doesn't look so good. Let's see, sorry, notes here. Noticing your fear, and I've talked about this too, but not letting it lead you. Okay, so not letting your fear control your decisions. Okay, so like making decisions, but you know, not letting that fear control you is important. And lastly, show up as real self with your friends, even if that risks being seen. Okay, so show up as yourself, guys. Everybody wants you, not somebody that you're trying to be. Bravery is practice, not a personality trait. Okay, it's something we practice. It's not inherent. Like nobody is born brave. We practice it by situations. How rude. I received a call and it took me off of this. Okay. As I was saying, bravery is practice, not a personality trait. We are not born with bravery. You don't just wake up brave. You build it by choosing courage in small moments over and over and over again. I have a quote because you guys all know I like quotes. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something else is more important than your fear. I know you've heard a rendition of that with me before. Another one would be, you don't have to feel ready to be brave. We've talked about this in our stair stepping. You just have to be willing. And remember, it's the quiet voice at the end of the day that says, we will try again tomorrow. That's brave. That's being brave. Follow-up questions, because I know you guys never answer them, but I have to. Where in your life are you invited? Where in your life are you being invited to be brave right now? Even in the small way. I'd really like you guys to think about that one. Like, where are you being invited to be brave? That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that you're being brave and think you're successful at being brave at that point, but like, where are you being invited to be brave? Like what situations, moments, people are challenging you to do that? And then number 2, what fear has been making decisions for you? And what might you do to change that if courage led instead? So think about like things that, you know, are making you maybe fear. It could be as simple as people, your friends, relationships, like what fear is making decisions for you. And that might be a little bit harder on you to think about. Okay, guys, we're at like, I don't even know, 13 minutes, 12 minutes. I'm on YouTube, so I can do what I want. No, I'm just kidding. Happy Monday. I love you guys all. See you guys later.